Brought to you by...
Many of us wander through life haunted, regretful of the things that we have done, and carrying the burden of our actions throughout our day-to-day, always afraid that they will return to tear us down. For some people, it's not so much about the actions that they themselves have committed, but the ones that they have stood by and watched others carry out without mercy. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF, where after setting her serial killer boyfriend on fire, a paranoid, delusional woman gets a job at an all-night gas station, where her delusions and hallucinations build toward a horrific reality that she cannot hope to escape. We open this film in the aftermath of a violent night, overlooking the carnage left by what we are about to experience. Within the first few moments, we are introduced to the dark shadow of a past that our protagonist drags with her, in the form of this traumatic experience with a violent serial killer ex-boyfriend. It doesn't take long before we are introduced to our setting, a quaint, partially derelict old fill-up joint on the edge of town, tucked out of the way and seemingly on the verge of being forgotten to time. It's from this introduction that we are presented the isolation that surrounds this film, directly mimicking the isolation our protagonist feels, having become a social pariah for the role she played in her boyfriend's actions. The interesting thing about the protagonist of this film that I feel sets her apart from most that I have seen before is the idea that she was trapped in this relationship, knowingly tied to a killer, and too terrified to leave or try and stop him. This idea places her in a situation to where she is being forced to overcome her trauma and literally face the demons that haunt her in a very tangible way. Early in the narrative, Mary's trauma begins manifesting itself in the form of hallucinations about the horrible things her boyfriend did. While mostly standard, the cinematography for the film is great, showcasing a gorgeous color palette and shot composition with clean and precise editing. The visual presentation of these early scenes is lit very soft and warm, with almost a heavenly glow that feels somewhat strange. I chalk this up to the idea that we never know when Mary is going to experience one of her hallucinatory episodes. She is locked perpetually in this state between reality and dream, or, in her case, nightmare. These early sequences in this film string together your standard slasher setup, leading us to the night in question where everything we expect to go down, goes down. A few of the characters' interactions are a little wooden at times, mostly when Mary meets with her parole officer. A good amount of the dialogue feels very first draft to me. The kills right from the rip are brutal and violent, the gore effects are gruesome as fuck and brutally vicious, while not relying heavily on editing to make them feel that way. The film's score is fairly standard for your run-of-the-mill slasher experience. I think adding the element of Mary's hallucinations in elevated the experience a bit. It keeps you guessing and wondering whether or not the horrific things that she is seeing are in fact happening, or if they're all in her mind. They also make for some very interesting visuals. The woman's voice on the phone led me to wonder if maybe the person stalking her was the parent of one of her boyfriend's victims, rather than the killer boyfriend that we assume it to be. Throughout this film, Mary literally begins to visualize the walls of her mind beginning to crack and crumble, as the horrors of the past begin to break through the little stable foundations that she has left standing. The hallucinations build throughout the film, making it hard to believe what is real, and leading us further toward the belief that everything might just be all in her mind. The larger twist of the film, I feel, is where things start to crumble a bit like Mary's psyche. I'm not sure if I love their approach or hate it. The filmmakers chose to make every idea real, which kind of makes it all fall a little short for me. Part of me definitely wishes they had chosen to go one way with it instead of every way. However, I can't say that I've seen this approach done like this before. Much like I've never seen anyone get run through with a wall-mounted deer head in this fashion. In some ways, this is a plain Jane slasher through and through. However, that's why I feel this one works as well as it does. It doesn't set you up to experience anything that you aren't expecting, and delivers on what it promises to. A fun and grisly good time, while still managing to subvert your expectations in a pretty unique way, that not only builds you up to question what is going to happen next, but by also using an everything but the kitchen sink approach to deliver its twists effectively. There is an element to the climax that suggests that Mary will never be rid of her past. Her boyfriend's body is gone when she awakens, and we find her sometime later in a new job, still pursued by the image that haunts her. After much deliberation, I feel I have to give Open 24 Hours a B. While not the most original or direct approach to slasher filmmaking, it takes a few risks and plays with the fractured minds in a way that I quite thoroughly enjoyed, and did keep me guessing throughout. While I don't think this one will be beloved by all, I think those who enjoy a more psychological twist on their horror might have some fun with it. A lot of people ask me how I decide on what films to cover here on the channel. Truth be told, with the hundreds of streaming options that I have access to, it's quite easy to pick and choose from the lot. But one of the ways I keep myself stocked with new films to ponder is with Horror Pack. Horror Pack is a horror film subscription box that brings 4 carefully chosen fright flicks on your choice of either Blu-ray or DVD to your doorstep each month, bringing back a little bit of that video store nostalgia, without ever having to worry about returns or late fees. How does this work, you might ask? Using our affiliate link down in the description, just head on over to horrorpack.com. Choose your plan of either DVD or Blu-ray. Select the payment option that best suits your needs. The longer the plan, the more you save. The Frightful staff packs and ships your horror pack to you, so one day you wander out to your mailbox and find a tightly packaged nightmare waiting for your viewing pleasure. As I mentioned, Horror Pack offers a variety of payment plans that best fit your needs, starting at just $24.99 a month for a month-to-month plan. And the best part, not only are you introducing yourself to a whole new world of horrors, hassle-free, but you're watching your collection grow without ever having to lift a finger. So get yourself Horror Pack and grow your horror collection today. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider supporting ETF on Patreon. You don't have to give a lot, every little bit helps this channel grow and helps us bring you new content to enjoy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you aren't already. Click that bell icon to be notified on all our future videos, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.